Who doesn't love starting their week off with Bleach? What is up everyone, it is me DevilNeverCry and today we are of course talking about the latest character trailer for Bleach Rebirth of Souls. Before we dive in, a quick shout out and huge thank you to everybody who left a comment on my previous Bleach video, as it seems a lot of you are fans of the series too. So today's trailer revolves around Byakuya, which obviously isn't a surprise given we've seen him in previous trailers, but now we have a bit of an in-depth look at just how he plays. Obviously the captain of Squad 6, he is described as a tactician who adapts his fighting style depending on the situation and uses Senbonzakura to cut down his enemies. I guess he does cut down his enemies, but I'd say the word shred seems far more apt. Starting off with his signature move, and of course the main gambit it seems of his gameplay, is being able to use both the sealed and released version of Senbonzakura and being able to switch between the two at will during gameplay. It's quite obvious to see when it's sealed and released. We see him use the sealed version where it looks like a standard katana, and then only moments later, we see him use the same exact attack animations, albeit this time, it looks like he's swinging around a bunch of cherry blossom petals. I can't quite tell whether or not the attacks are faster when in the released form, but it looks like one of the main benefits of course is the increased attack range. We then also get a closer look at his spiritual pressure move, which changes depending on whether or not Senbonzakura is in a released or sealed form when used. The move seemingly summons a tempest or tornado of blades around Byakuya in a 360-degree motion, but when used in a released form, it will draw your opponents in, allowing you to keep up the pressure. On the flip side, if used when in the sealed form, it will blow your opponents away, creating a gap between the two of you. I guess they are really leaning in on the whole tactician aspect of his character. This move essentially allows you to put your opponent exactly where you want them. If they're a long-range fighter, then you definitely want to draw them in, and if they're a close-range fighter, then of course it makes sense to blow them away completely. His second spiritual pressure move, That Won't Touch Me, effectively is a counterattack in which you're able to hit them with the Sokatsui Kido. It seemingly looks like a timed ability, so it's not something that you can mash to your heart's content. It looks like you're going to have a little patience basically and try and predict when your opponent's going to go in for the kill. If they were smart, they could really up the ante and basically make the counterattack damage relative to the strength of the attack that you managed to parry, so to speak. Really leaning in on the big risk versus big reward aspect of the move, but who knows if that's going to be the case. For all I know, it could be something that you are able to mash or perhaps takes no meter at all. And that finally brings us to the last part of this trailer, which obviously focuses on his awakening, or his Bankai, Senbonzakura Kageyoshi, where Senbonzakura no longer changes its form and is fixed in a form that strengthens Byakuya's mid to long range techniques, but ultimately weakens his close combat. There was one cool aspect of this awakening that I saw that actually surprised me, but I'll get onto that in a second. Obviously we see an absolute maelstrom of sword fragments being used in attacks here, and it looks like Byakuya isn't even moving his arms. The thing that I spotted that surprised me was something that was tucked away right at the very end of the trailer, and it looks as though Byakuya uses a move that is incredibly reminiscent of that fateful move he used against Ichigo at the top of the Sokyoku when attempting to end the fight. In fact, if memory serves me correctly, and I'm sure some of you in the comments will tell me if I'm absolutely not, that moment is the only time in the series where Byakuya ended up using the White Emperor Sword or the Shuke Hakuteiken. We do also see what looks like a cutscene in which he enters the Senkai form of Senbonzakura, but again, these two aspects could purely be just cutscene only, perhaps in whatever story mode they're cooking up, but it would be cool to see them being used in gameplay too. But that pretty much brings us to the end of this character trailer, and with how rapidly they've been dropping out new content, I won't be surprised if next week or the week after we get some new content as well. Let me know down in the comments below what character you're looking forward to playing as the most, and of course if you enjoyed this video do leave a like and definitely subscribe as there is more Bleach content on the way. With all that said and done, it has been me, DevilNeverCry. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. As always, I'll see you all next video.